from North Shore Congregation Israel will be officiating. And in just a moment, we're going to lower her casket, and the cantor is going to approach the family to perform the ancient ceremony of Kriya. If you have a cell phone or a watch that makes noise, please make sure they're silenced at this time.
We remember Alice Stone and join our hearts together to give comfort and strength to her family. Mourning is a time filled with many emotions and memories, both bitter and sweet. We begin our service today with a recitation of psalms, prayers, poetry, thus linking Alice's life with the millennial-old tradition of the people of Israel and the eternity of God. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo Ezri mehim Adonai ose shamayim va'aretz Aditein lamot raglecha al yanum shomrecha hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael Adonai shomrecha Adonai tzilcha al yad yeminecha Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka Ve'yareach balayla Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך מעתה מעתה ועד עולם. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Adonai is your guardian. Adonai is your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm. God will guard your life. Adonai will guard your going and coming, now and forever. What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Adonai roi lo echsav, bin odesh yarbitzeni, armei menuchot inachaleni, nafshi eshovev, yancheni beglag letzedek, leman shemo, gam ki elech b'getzat mavet, lo ichra, ki ata imadi, shivtecha, ומשענתך המה ינחמוני, תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, תשענת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב החסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. Please join me in the translation of the psalm. I just chanted Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. To the living I am gone, to the sorrowful I will not return. To the angry I was cheated, but to the happy I am at peace, and to the faithful I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So, as you stand upon a shore gazing at a beautiful sea, remember me. As you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, and your memories, the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, and the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never have gone. In Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1, we read, "A good name is better than fragrant oil, and the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth." In a commentary focused upon the second half of that verse, the following scene is described, trying to make sense of that verse. A crowd of people is standing on a dock as ships are leaving and entering port. One noticed that the ships leaving port received little response, but those entering port arrived with much cheering and animation. The person making the observation asked members of the cheering assembly why the ship entering port received such a big response and the one leaving port such a small response. One person answered, "We have no idea of the fate of the journey of the ship that leaves the port. But the ship that returns, we know the nature of its voyage. So too is one's life. At birth, there is no way to know the nature of one's actions, the paths one might take. But on the day of one's death, we have a full understanding of the nature of one's deeds and the journey they have taken." While I did not know Alice, I did get an idea of her from Debbie and Rachel when we sat together yesterday. Born and raised in Chicago, Avondale area, attended Von Steuben High School, where she met her future husband Bruce while participating in junior achievement. They married in 1954 and began building their family together 4 years later when Debbie arrived. Soon after that, Wendy was born, and they had a special bonus 8 years later when Rachel was born. Alice devoted much of her time to her family. She was a loving daughter to her parents and a loving mother to her children and grandchildren. And despite circumstances and perhaps Bruce's watchful eye, she found ways to fulfill the needs and some of the desires of her beloved children. She enjoyed knitting, bowling, reading mysteries, and watching Perry Mason. And I call on Debbie to share a few words now to add a little depth.
Wow. My mom was a lot of things. She lived a long time. She had a lot of opportunities to learn a lot of things, but I just wanted you guys to know one thing about her that I'll always remember. And my second husband has given me permission to tell this story. When I was dating my first husband way back, we secretly decided to get married so he could get his green card and travel back and forth to Ireland because he was Irish. We didn't tell anybody. A lot of you are just finding out for the first time right now. Anyway, we went through all the secret things. We did all the paperwork. Nobody knew. We're down at immigration for the interview, just like in the movie Green Card. And they said to us, "We're going to call my house to confirm that you're married." Nobody knew. And yeah, seriously, right? So we had no choice. We had to sit there and we had to wait for them to call. And they called. And by the grace of God, my father did not answer the phone. And my mother answered the phone. And they said to her, "Is your daughter married?" And my mom said, "Well, of course she is." No idea, no clue, no nothing. And she said, "Of course she is." And that was that. They stamped his passport with his green card. Patrick and I hightailed it out of there like two bats out of hell. And in the way of my family, my mother never talked about it. She never asked. Nothing. She just did something to take care of me instinctively without knowing why or how. I don't even know, she just did it. And I will always obviously be grateful for a lot of reasons. But it was just something about her that she didn't know about herself, that she had this instinct and she had this thing in her to take care of her kids. Even when she didn't know she was doing it, she was taking care of me. So that is my story to tell, and it hopefully gives you a little insight about my mom and certainly my dark side, but and that's all I wanted to share, so thank you.
So now the task is left to those who remain here in this realm to build a beautiful memory that leads to blessing. Debbie and Tim, Rachel and Rick, John and Kelly and Abra, you all engage in that process when you link Alice to the notion of allowing yourself to participate in journeys or adventures that others plan for you. When you enjoy time together playing games or doing crossword puzzles, watching Rachel Maddow and then Perry Mason, reading a crime story, expressing your feelings with mildly colorful language. Mostly, you will build her memory when you give of yourselves to each other, when you give and receive love. I was thinking about her as she was described to me, and I thought of this song to conclude the eulogy, and you'll hear why in a second. Will you build me a house that really will be mine? Then let me give you my design, a simple scheme of the house I dream of. Build my house of wood, build my house of stone, build my house of brick and mortar. Make the ceiling strong, strong against the storm. Shelter when the days grow shorter. But build my house of love, and paint the house with trusting, and warm it with the warmth of your heart. Make the floor of faith, make the walls of truth, put a roof of peace above. Only build my house of love. May Alice's memory be a blessing to those who knew her, were close to her, who loved her and who were loved by her. And let us say, Amen. Please rise for the memorial prayer. Il male rachamim shochein bamromim Amatzei menachanechona Amatzei menachanechona תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים מטהרים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת, את נשמת אסנת ראשי, בת משה וזלדה, שהלכה לעולמה בגן עדן תהי מנוחתה. אנא בעל רחמים, אסתריה בסתר כנפיך לא נמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה. ונאמר, Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Alice Stone, who has entered eternity. May her rest be like a rest in the paradise known as Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. O God of mercy, let her find refuge forever in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. שיביתי אדוני נגדי תמיד, כי מן מיני בא למות. לכן שמח ליבי ויגל כבודי, אף בשרי ישכון לבטח. כי לא תעזוב נפשי לשאול, לא תיתן חסידך לראות שחת. תודיעני אורך ימים, אורח חיים, סופה שמחות את נפשך. נרימות צמנים לך נצח, שיביתי אדוני לנגדי תמיד, כי מימיני בא למות. I am ever mindful of the divine presence who is at my right hand. I shall never be shaken, so my heart rejoices, my whole being exalts, my body rests secure. For you will not abandon me to Sheol, or let your faithful one see the pit. You will teach me the path of life. In your presence is perfect joy. Delights are ever in your right hand. We join together in Kadashitom. גדל ויתקדש שמך רבה, ועמד דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה וזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמך רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה, בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעמל ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, Imru, Amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who wish to come forward to place some earth into the grave, you may. The tradition is to place 3 shovels of earth without handing the shovel from person to person. The family will be together at the Stone residence at 839 Leahy Circle East. That's in Des Plaines. Today, they'll be together today till 9 p.m. Memorial contributions in her memory to North Shore Congregation Israel. That information you'll find on the service folder. And for those of you who are joining us live stream, you can find that information on our website. This concludes the live stream portion. And for those of you who wish to come forward, please do so now.